So, welcome back, people, to another episode of Let's Get Moving Podcast. Not to forget, if you join us for our first conversation with today's guest, then you already know that we didn't just simply talk about the breath work. We didn't spoke about just fasting or health. We explored something much more bigger here. We explored the possibility that human beings are capable of living with a far greater energy, with their awareness, with their resilience, and purpose that we have been conditioned to believe that we possess. So our today's episode is the natural continuation of that conversation because my guest once again here is Michael Ferguson, also known as Mikey Breads, of course, a life expansionist whose mission is to explore practical methods for accelerating regeneration, cultivating extraordinary energy, then expanding those conscious awareness and helping thousands of people, as many as he can, to reconnect with the incredible capabilities of the human body and their mind. So, in our first episode, not to forget, we also explored the personal journey and philosophy about Michael Ferguson by itself. But today we are going to go a little bit deeper than that. So I would like to discuss with Michael also about the conscious mind, what is it actually can be trained, why modern society feels increasingly disconnected despite unprecedented technological progress and advancements. So what true freedom really means and whether humanity is evolving or just simply becoming more distracted. So that would be my question. So, and this is about just convincing anyone out there what to believe. Of course, it's about asking better questions. So wherever you are, please slow a little bit down. So put away all of the distractions. So stay present with us today and enjoy the volume 2 with incredible Michael Ferguson. Michael, welcome back to Let's Get Moving Podcast, man. It's a great pleasure to have you on board once again.
Ivan, brother, thank you so much for having me back. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I have more energy than ever. I feel freaking fantastic. So let's share it with your audience, bless them today, and just charge them like a defibrillator. Just back to
Let's do
life,
that.
man. Thank you for
Absolutely,
having me.
Mike. So no problem. So it's a pleasure is all mine. So Michael, in our previous conversation, we spoke a lot about expanding life. But since then, here's your definition of what it truly means, to be human, change for you or not.
So has my definition for what it means to be human, has it changed at all since last time?
Yes.
I would say no, but it may have some add-ons, to it. Usually things don't change too much. They just become more understood. And that's what I'm seeing in life.
All right.
Like what life actually is, it doesn't really change, but there's more to it. It goes deep inside and deep outside. So it goes infinitely inward and infinitely outward. So when a person sees anything, that's not the final result. That's just a piece of the process or like what it's going to be or what it has been.
Yeah. And do you believe that humanity is mistaken in nowadays the comfort for having that progress in life or not?
Have they mistaken comfort as progress? So like our conveniences and stuff like that?
Yes.
Good question. I would say if we say that our innovations and things that have expedited our effects and results in nature and life and everything else as advancement, as progress, I would definitely say yes, because progress is not something that's the result. It's the functionality of in a greater expansive definition. So just because I can have let's say popcorn, right? I have a microwave. I could put popcorn in the microwave and have popcorn, seemingly in a few minutes. But in the old days, I'd have to like start a fire, get it going, get everything happening. And it might take me like 5 or 10 minutes to make that same popcorn. Just because I get something faster doesn't necessarily mean I'm advancing, but the purpose of the consumption of the item, the popcorn, and what it's being diverted to would state the functionality and the development of it. So it's more so about what are we doing with the things that we have, the time that we have, and the freedom that we have, and that would tell us our true advancement. If we're just using that fast-paced life and the comforts to do nothing with our life, then no, we're not advancing. But if we're taking the time that we're saving from the microwave popcorn, which by the way, don't use microwaves, don't eat popcorn, but as the example, it's easy. But
Yeah.
that time that we're saving not endeavoring in starting a fire and everything else, what are we doing? If we're placing it towards self-awareness, acknowledgement, expansion, the application of new developmental functions and stuff like that, then I would say, yeah. So it's dispersed, it's not common, but there are probably some out there doing it, and that's what I'm doing with my own life.
Yes, yes, and I love that you use the analogy of popcorn because imagine if someone from 500 years ago observed our modern civilization today. So, what do you think would impress them, and what you deeply believe that it will concern them?
Well, I
Have
believe
you
that
ever thought
history has
about
been
that?
changed. Yeah, and I believe that, 500 years ago is probably more advanced now than now. Like, yeah, we have
Hmm.
like things that are quick, but it's running on a faulty system. So we need to
Yeah.
burn stuff to take energy out of it. We need to
Hmm.
create power plants to get energy when back in the day they probably could have used the free energy of the air and the ether and everything else. So they even though they might have been more of a stone civilization of what they used versus a metal civilization like now, they probably had greater advancements than us, and they'd probably look to us now and probably say, "What happened?" Like
Yeah.
like, where are the giant buildings? Where's the beautiful cathedrals? Where's all this other stuff? It's like you guys have seemingly advanced in retrograde. So, yeah, you advance in your way, but you're behind from where we used to be. That's what I would probably think from 5 to 1,000 years ago, 500 to 1,000 years ago. But yeah, but if a
Yes.
caveman saw us, they'd probably, have disbelief and cognitive dissonance. They'd probably go insane because if you intake something that cannot be processed, it's usually stored as trauma, and that's where people get their self-sabotaging motives and self-harming or harming others and stuff like that, because the inability to process is where chaos is generated. So that's where
Yeah.
people get crazy and everything else, bipolar and a lot of other stuff. Physically, physiologically, mentally, and then neurologically as well. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And this also kind of questions bothers me from time to time. I always question, have we actually become technologically advanced while we simultaneously just becoming, biologically disconnected? I mean, also not just from other people, but also within us. What is your opinion about that?
Well, everything has an effect, and that's a great question. Whenever
Hmm.
we take on
Thank you.
an onboard technology, it rewires our brain and our ability. So people are becoming
Sure.
less competent because they're now relying on, AI. They're having
Hmm.
chat bots, and because of that, they're atrophying in their mental capacity and their ability to actually have effect in reality, which is
Sure.
making them more dependent upon the chat bot and the feedback and everything else. So as technology becomes more available, I wouldn't say it's more advanced. Like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
again, we're compressing time, but like pretty much there hasn't really been anything new that's been invented. It's just been faster or like more storage or, quicker access to it, right? So
Yeah.
now that technology is more available to a wider scope of people, it's influencing the brainwaves of a lot of people, and they're actually becoming less effective in reality. They don't know how, they don't they don't know how to start a fire. They don't know how to identify plants. They don't even know the reality that they're in. They don't even know what breath is or oxygen. They hear these words and they're familiar with the term, but they don't actually know what things are, and they don't have any clear cut definitions. That's why a lot of people think that I'm fasting, but when I tell them I'm not fasting, they get confused. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't eaten in X amount of
Yeah.
days. Like now it's been, I think, like, how many days has it been? Like 56 or something like that? I haven't eaten in 56 days, something like that. 60. Oh, it's been 60 days. I don't even count
Yeah.
anymore.
Okay.
But so they'll hear not eating and just have a broad scope. Okay, it's fasting because their mind has atrophied to the point where they're not conscientious enough to see the clear cut definitions of the differentials of what this thing is compared to that thing. So they're having a more rounded, in a sense, or smooth understanding of what reality is. It's almost like a baby. You can't
Yeah.
give babies sharp things because they will hurt themselves. Sharp blocks, sharp toys, sharp anything, because they'll hurt themselves. And now people are reverting to where they can't have anything sharp, sharp definition, sharp understanding, or anything like that, sharp perception, because they have atrophied in their minds. And the baby just knows blue. It doesn't know aqua or turquoise or marine or sky blue or baby blue or
Of
anything
course.
of that matter. It just knows, okay, this is
Yeah.
blue. And this is where a lot of
This
people
is
are
blue.
coming
Yeah.
to. And I think it's because of the dependency upon technology or the accessibility to it, to where they are no longer stable in their own infrastructure to be cognitively aware to understand what they're in this reality. And that's all that we should have energy for, is to understand, what is this? What is this? It's not the phone. It's
Yes.
not the internet. It's not a YouTube video or a meme. That stuff can come and go, but reality, what we're in, has always been, from what we know. So if
Yes.
anything, all the energy should be put towards understanding and comprehending this for
Yes.
life if a person wants to live.
I love the way how you put it in like, perspective, because we are also very limited through our awareness. But what do you think? What abilities do you believe that every human possesses naturally, but we really develop anymore because of it?
You got some great
Mm.
questions, man.
Yeah.
I Okay, I'm gonna go for the highest thing, right? So I could say like, yeah,
Yeah. Of
humans
course.
can do this
Yeah.
and that. We're gonna go
Yeah.
to the highest thing. What ability does every
Yeah.
human have that they are no longer advancing or developing right now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the ability to truly influence this realm, this reality, by the signals and the frequency
Yeah.
of the waves and the energetic waves that a person emits from their heart center, their mind, their consciousness, their emotions, their intentions. Because people are now becoming displaced by watching something, right? They can
Yeah.
watch it, it turns them off. When a person watches something, in a sense, they no longer have power in reality. They're out as long as they're watching. So whenever a person stops watching and starts looking at reality and embraces it, that's where the effect comes from. That's the greatest ability a human has, is
Yeah.
to be,
Being
I don't
proactive.
like all the spiritual terms and like the esoteric, like, oh yeah, we're 5D consciousness I don't like that stuff. But one thing that we actually are is a co-creator or a co-influencer or a co effector in reality. And that's our greatest ability, is to affect this place that we're in. We're not just
Yeah.
bystanders or just like by and by, like, okay, yeah, we're here on earth. Okay, yeah, we're alive. No, we have the ability to truly affect this realm. And I think that's something that people are diminishing in because they're not engaging with reality. They're just engaging with their distraction. Which
That's right.
you can watch as many memes and videos and reels and shorts as you want to, but as long as you're here, nothing's happening out here.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an on-off switch. The moment you put this down, you start affecting this. The moment you look away from this and you look at this stops being affected. So,
Yeah.
you gotta work the muscle, you gotta work the conditioning, because it takes a lot of energy to truly affect this in a way that's prosperous for yourself. Prosperity, wealth, health, and everything else. And sometimes the person will get tired. So to engage with this consistently, it takes a lot of stamina and energy. So it's okay to
Yeah.
decompress and go back here for a little bit, but just know that the moment you look at this, you're unplugging from that, which is the purpose of what all life actually is. And that's the greatest thing a human has. That's the greatest
Yeah.
capacity, the greatest capability.
Totally, totally true. And I think that we, as we said, to decompress, we just put everything to the bare minimum. If it is, people will just spend some time training their body, but almost no time training their awareness. And why do you think conscientiousness is rarely treated like a skill set? How can we, possess, I don't know, maybe some kind of training method, or even be more aware of it? How can we, be more engaged in our own life?
Man, you got some good questions. Well, however you start your day is how you're going to be directed towards it. So like if you start your
Mhm.
day in disconnectedness or like being dissected from reality, okay, I wake up, I just start doing stuff, or I look at my phone or whatever, then that's going to
Mhm.
kind of determine or give a color or a theme or a palette to the rest of your day. But when you
Yeah.
start the first moments of your waking senses plugging into consciousness itself, it triggers and it ignites, it initiates the spark for the rest of the day to possibly go like that. Now you have to keep checking in and everything else, because you don't just stay conscious because you did something 2 hours ago, but
Yeah.
you are more so on that path and aware of it than if you would have started with something else. So that's the very beginning. So before a person trains their consciousness or whatever, just start the first part of your day by generating, turning on, initiating, starting your consciousness of your self consciousness. And that, in a sense, will turn your scope towards seeing, hey, what's the most conscious thing I can do next? And then do it
Yeah.
again. What's the most conscious thing I can do next and next and next and so on? And then all of a sudden you condition it and train it by default by just being in it. And you don't have to do an activity or exercise to try to become conscientious. You just never stopped. And when you never stop, you end up at a greater state than if you would have tried, and you don't tire out or exert your stamina. So then now
Yeah.
it's free conscious energy that you're just deriving from by living, and it's seemingly infinite conscious energy.
Yeah, you basically put exactly that point, because I wanted to ask you from this question: can actually conscientiousness be strengthened in the build the same way as a muscle? But what practices have fundamentally changed the way you experience reality? Not just to think about it. Are there any, as you said here, that you
Man,
apply
okay, cool.
actively even nowadays?
Yeah, so that's a great question as well. So I do have some meditations that I give to my Discord community. They're called phase
All right.
meditations, and it's 1 through 4. There's more than that, but like the basic start is like you got to get down 1 through 4 before you even move on. And it from this, people have been able to stimulate their marriage and like have a more successful marriage. They've been able to get a bunch of money and success, wealth. They've been able to know themselves better, their own hang up. So like this meditation here changes everything in reality: relationships, finances, health, yourself, understanding, energy, like all this stuff. People have literally reversed their illness just from
Yeah.
doing these meditations because they found out
Hmm.
the linchpin that was holding their sickness in their body. They discovered it, dissolved it. Their sickness went away, and they're like, "What the?" They didn't even do anything. They just became aware of. So besides the phase meditations, which I give in the guide, I talk about it a little bit, but primarily in the Discord community, there's not really any conscious practice that I do besides just staying conscious. Consciousness and conscientiousness isn't necessarily something that you condition at to grow as much as it's something you stay in. So it's almost like you just choosing to stay here, right? I
Hmm.
can
Yeah.
leave this spot if I want to, but it's not like I have to do anything to stay in the spot. It's just something I choose to be in. So like the only thing that you can truly do with conscientiousness is choose to stay in it. And as you stay in it, apply it. If you stay conscious but don't apply it in the right way, it becomes taxing and very straining. It becomes in a sense, what would be the word? It almost like it takes your essence away. This is why people who become more conscious are like, oh, it's bad being conscious because now you know everything and it's very sad and depressing. They're like, "Yeah, now that I'm more conscious, I'm more aware of all this other stuff, and, like, it's so debilitating to me to see all this stuff happen." But that's actually showing the inefficiency of the conscious state that they're in, because if they were truly conscious, they could be able to process that without it taking essence from them, and they can resolve the situation. So what they're actually
Yeah.
saying is they're not that conscious. If you're conscious and you're tired from being conscious, it shows that you're not actually conscious, you're just on the brink of it, but you're not effective in it. So you gotta know how to
Hmm.
apply it. So whenever you're in
Yeah.
conscientiousness, you need to see with your conscientiousness what is the true next step to do, and it always reciprocates energy back to you, so it feeds on itself. That's why I say it's an infinite energy loop in a sense, because when you become more conscious, you make better conscious decisions, which reciprocates that energy back to you because you made better decisions, better choices, eating, moving, talking, not acting in your emotions or whatever, and you actually get more energy from it to see more, to become more conscious, to take the next step, and it keeps being fed back into you. So all you got to do is stay in that. You don't need to
Yeah.
condition it or try to build up stamina, but if you're being conscious and you're having your stamina drained, it's just showing that you're not efficient in it. And it's okay to get out of it. It's okay to be unconscious sometimes. It's okay to unplug and whatever, but know why you're unplugging. Not because like, oh, I'm so tired. Take notes. Why am I tired? What tired me out this conscious round than last conscious round? Why am I even tired from being conscious? Why is my consciousness not so great and expanded that I understand how to get more energy from it while I'm in it?
Yeah.
And that's the true awareness. And that's what we do. When we live on that, it's like the next step feeds into the next step, feeds into the next step. And,
Yeah.
and it collapses upon the next thing, which expands and grows in a sustainable rate. But if we're trying, if we're forcing, if we're using willpower, it's instantly draining from us. And then, yeah, we do get tired. So we should take note of all the things that we're experiencing, because when you truly come to a higher elevated state of consciousness itself, it's self-sustaining. You have a bunch of energy. It doesn't take much to do it. It's very efficient. So whenever you're living in that way, like you can continue staying in it. But if you're in a conscious state, what you might call a conscious, or somebody might call a conscious state, and they're tired from it, it's showing that, yeah, they're more conscious, but they're ineffective with their consciousness to where it's
Yeah.
detrimental versus expansive.
I totally get you, and I really do believe that you're doing a great stuff with this meditation, because you're teaching the people to be more in sync with their intuition, and the intuition is practically one of the main things that leads us to making those decisions in life. But if someone wanted to experience more presence tomorrow morning, what is the maybe very first thing they could, start doing, or even maybe on the other side, stop doing,
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome. So, just to kind of clarify, a person can't be more present. You either are
Yeah,
or you're not. And in that,
yeah,
it's what you do with it once you are present, because I can't be more here. I can't like
yeah,
put both my feet down. Okay, I am in my room. I am
yeah,
present. I am more. It's either you're
yeah,
aware of your presence, or a person's not, which again,
yeah,
totally fine if they're not. Like, you don't have to become this present guru. It doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
if you're unaware, that's where calamity happens and chaos and destruction and everything else. Because the moment you have wisdom, you avoid destruction.
Yeah.
So live in destruction all you want to, but know that you don't have to. So a person necessarily can't become more present, but what they can do if they want to be present with the moment, listen to their breath. Okay, cool. How, like, am I breathing shallow? Am I breathing deeply? These are some basic things. Put your hand on your heart. Is your heart beating fast? Is your heart beating hard? Is your heart beating slow? Is your heart faintly beating? Bring your attention into your mind. What am I thinking about? How do I feel? Do I feel any pressure on my head? Is my head throbbing? How is my nose? And you start bringing your attention all throughout your body. How are my eyes? Are my eyes strained? How's my nose? Is my nose clogged? How's my mouth? Is my jaw locked up and tight? How are my ears? I need to like get something out. To become present, become yourself.
Yeah.
So like truly feel yourself. Feel your legs. Feel your tightness. Feel your soreness. Feel your neck and your spine and stretch yourself, and then all of a sudden you're in it, you're present with you. And as you become present, it's not good enough to stay present or just be present. Now that you're present, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to engage with reality now that you have the awareness that you're you? So a lot of people ended it, okay, cool, I'm present, I'm in the moment, I'm spiritual, but they still are poor, they still get sick, and they still look very unhealthy. Like, yo, bro, you look like you're not going to live too much longer. Like, you look pretty stressed. So when you stop at presence, you only did half the job. But when you understand the presence is the first step to become aware of what you're in so you can engage with what you're in, now you take it to the next level. And that's what presence is actually for. It's the initiator, the start, to start knowing, okay, I'm in this realm. What do I do next? How do I engage with it? And once you engage with it, that's where the gift and the rewards comes from. Health, success, wealth, money, all the other stuff, the body,
Of course.
everything, all the stuff.
The energy needs to meet up with the presence, of course. And
100%. Yeah.
and we also spoke about the energy and the frequency in our previous conversation. And most of the conversations about the energy revolve around nutrition and sleep. But for you, energy is much more than that. And we used to believe, and we also see from you. So can you explain that physiology to our people once again? What does actually mean to have that incredible energy? Because it's kind of contagious when the people are surrounded with you and when they speak with you. So what is the secret about that?
Well, that's a very beautiful thing, and I take that as a compliment. Thank you so much, Ivan. You're awesome, bro. Um,
Thank you. I'm
ultimately,
just
like,
being honest. Mm,
what this emittance is, or what people feel. Okay, like, let's give something for our audience who doesn't know. Like every time people get around me,
mhm,
just this bubble, you can call it an aura, you can call it the electromagnetic field, you can call it my heart radiance, you can name it whatever you want, but the thing is still a thing,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
people get around me, whether they're a girl or a guy or whoever, they instantly become more aware. They instantly become more healthy. And when I say instantly, I mean within days. Sometimes people get
yeah,
around me, they'll lose like 5 pounds in 2 days by doing nothing different, but just by being in this field. So with me saying that, some people will even get healed. Some people will even come to the point where they no longer have their sickness or disease or issue, and they just wake up one day and they're like, it's gone. Like, I don't feel that thing, whatever it was, anymore. So first off, why? Who cares about it? But like, why is this happening? I believe that I'm an ambassador on this earth to make it better. That things should be better uh, after I go than before I came. So when my energy or my presence touches something or interacts, it should always be better. I shouldn't hear, I'm not here to judge people or like say my way is better than, or anything like that. I'm like, well, for those who truly want to engage with it, it should have an effect, because talking energy, but having no effect in the world does nothing. It's just talk. And that's what like a lot of spiritual people have shown. Like, it's just talk. They have fancy words and all this other stuff, but the people around them aren't getting younger. They aren't getting more beautiful or handsome or sexy or gorgeous or healthy or whatever. They're just kind of like living with their trauma, and like they're in this trauma cycle of healing their trauma. It shouldn't take you longer than 2 days to heal.
yeah,
Like if a person's healing still, especially like trauma type stuff, longer than just 2 days, then like most likely it's just talk. So I believe I'm on this earth to generate a field that everything becomes better, almost like the Garden of Eden. People get
yeah.
healed, life gets better, the people around me become more successful, more wealthy, likes, comments, views go up, everybody. Usually for most people, when I come on their podcast or whatever, I'm usually the most viewed person. So like now they're getting success. They're getting, so like I believe that that's what I'm supposed to be in. and do, and that's supposed to be my effect in the world. Now, to do that, I have to be completely transparent and aware of myself, my drivers, my energetic drivers, how energy is going in, how I'm processing it, what energy is going in, what am I even
Yeah.
consuming, how's the air around me, is it polluted, how's the food I'm eating, is it organic or not, how's the water, the drink or whatever, how's my sleep, so all this that I'm consuming, I make sure it's the best. When it's the best, I in a sense, fashion it with inside of me. And then as it's inside of me, I will redirect it and mold into something else. And that what it becomes is what I put out. And that's what people are experiencing. My fabrication. I will take something, fasten it, create it into something better, and I put that out, and then people experience that. So that's kind of what the energy is that people are feeling. But it takes constant awareness of it. If I ever take an energy, but unbiasedly, or I'm sorry, unknowingly have it in me and it comes out, then it could cause chaos,
Yeah.
arguments, disgruntlement, all this other stuff. But if I am aware of every iota, every unit of energy, and I fasten every single bit of it when it comes out, it only brings more blessings and peace and everything else.
Yeah, that's a main point because I also think that people are either creating energy or consuming it, and I think you're a very huge creator of it. So don't be surprised if the people want to see more of you. Um, why do some people on one side they are physically just looking gorgeous, healthy, but yet emotionally exhausted and drained? So what do you think that maybe this can cause, that stoppage of that fluidity, as you said?
Yeah, totally. And just
Mhm.
as a point, just for the podcast and everything else, I am hearing some like
Yes.
feedback noise. Do you hear it as well? Like the
Yes.
I'm not sure what that is. I turn my mic off and I still hear it. I don't know if it's on your side, my side, but I'm just letting you
Maybe,
know I
maybe,
hear it.
maybe, maybe I'm too close to it. I don't know. I would just try to be a little bit more away from it. Can you hear me now? Even
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I'm saying like there's also some like distortion noise. Do you hear it?
no. For me, everything is perfect. Really. Sorry for that.
No, it's all good. Okay, cool.
No, from
So
my
then
side, it's perfectly fine. I so really don't hear anything.
okay, perfect. Cool.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
why are some people beautiful physically and yet tired, like inside,
Yeah.
internally, and everything else?
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. One could be face filters. They look beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah.
Another one could be plastic surgery. So, like there's a lot of artificial things, lighting and all this other stuff that could give the appearance. And I even say that light is the greatest deceiver. So people are like, oh yeah, worship the light, like come to the light and everything else. Well, light's actually the manipulator because you can change lighting to make a person look more beautiful or, non-attractive and everything else. So like light deceives a lot of people. But, a person who may look physically great in our eyes, it might be because we don't know what vitality in life actually looks like. So you see a person who looks
Yeah.
healthy to you, but I see a person, I see inflammation, swelling, and everything else. A lot of people, think that dudes with big muscles and everything else, oh, that dude's obviously healthy, or this athlete and everything else. But when you look at the discrepancy of the person, or like the little tiny details, you see the darkness under the eyes, you see the wrinkles, you see the grays, you see that the muscles that they have when they do have bigger muscles, a lot of it's retention of water because they're so inflamed. You see pimples and back knee, you see skin pigmentation. So they're just taking it's kind of going back to the baby thing, right? So like the baby knows uh A, B, C, but the developed consciousness can see the antiquated ways of our previous society has resulted in the effects that we're now experiencing in reality, in causal reality. The baby can't understand that. The conscious mind can. So when a person sees somebody who's just not overweight or not bloated or not just overly obese, they're instantly assuming that or considering that to be healthy or look good. But when you really pull back, you can see all these other things. So a person has to understand there's levels to this stuff, and you got to look beneath the surface. And when you look beneath the surface, the person who does look beautiful but they're tired, you won't even see the beauty. You will see the tiredness. So me, whenever I look at people, especially like a lot of influencers, nothing against them. I love them all. Do your thing. You want to count calories? You want to starve yourself? You want to fast? You want to work out? You want to take whatever? Oh, hey, all you. I don't judge. Live and let live. But when I look at them, I can see how tired they are. I can see there's autoimmune disorders developing. I can see that they're swollen. I can see that they say this for money because they need you to buy their fitness plan, but in the back of their mind, they're freaking tired and they're so tired. You can tell by the redness of their skin, the wrinkles under their eyes, the skin pigmentation, all this other stuff. So I think that if a person appears to be beautiful but is tired on the inside, it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So when a person learns how to read the signs, they're not fooled by the makeup or the filter or the facade, in a sense, the mask. There's all these telltale
Okay.
signs. Yeah.
Well, based of your strategies that you have used so far, if you had to rebuild someone's energy from ground up, let's reduce it to the top five. What would be the first, top five priorities that we immediately, ingest in that person?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So if I had to rebuild somebody's energy from the ground up, is what you're saying, right? What would be the
Yeah.
top 5 things that I would first approach with?
Mm-hmm.
I would allow the person to know that the first thing is the energy can never be rebuilt. It can only be acknowledged. So what's in them is in them. What's happened has happened. Don't dismiss it. Don't deny it. Don't shove it under the rug. If you used to smoke, if you used to drink, if you used to do this, if you're still doing that, the only way for a person to change is to accept where they currently are and what they've done. So like
Yeah.
Alcohol Anonymous, right? So if a person is an alcoholic, the first step is to admit that the person is, an
Alcoholic. Yeah.
alcoholic, and then from then a
Yeah.
person can change. So like the way to recalibrate and like restructure their energy is the person has to admit what they're doing. Is it working? Is it not working? Are they tired? Because that's how I was. I would work out a lot back in the day. I haven't worked out in about 6.5 years. I'm going on 7 years without working out, without lifting a weight or doing cardio or any sort of workout. So this is my result after almost 7 years without working out. My muscles are bigger. I'm more lean. I have a bunch of energy, and I have not touched a weight or ran or anything like. I just live now from this energy. So in the past, I was working out, I was overweight, I was tired all the time, I was doing diets, and like I was keto, and then I tried this and that and vegan, all these different things, but I was exhausted at the end. I ended up injuring myself to where I couldn't walk, and I came to the point where I couldn't do upper body, I couldn't do lower body, and there was nothing I could do to get this weight off of me because I'm naturally overweight. I hold a bunch of weight on my body. Like I think I was 260 pounds at my highest. I had like a belly and everything else. Well, once I became injured, I was bedridden. I couldn't do anything but admit to myself that what I was doing wasn't working. Hey, I'm working out. I'm still not losing the weight. I still have the body I want. I'm tired of counting calories. I'm freaking exhausted. I'm freaking tired. Once I admitted all that stuff, then I could see the way beyond it. So the
Yeah.
first thing a person has to do is admit what they're doing isn't where they want to be. Like it's working to a degree. Like you can lose some weight, you can get some muscles, but it's not the highest way. So that's the first step. Second step is start taking account of everything that's in your environment, because everything in your environment you're absorbing. So if there's perfumes and sprays and colognes and pollution and everything, your curtains, everything, the bed sheets you live on, everything that you come in contact with, you absorb to some degree. Even if it's just on like a micro level, like a parts per billion, it
That's
still
true.
ends up in your body.
That's true. Yeah.
So same thing with what you consume. That definitely ends up with your body. So what are you consuming? Why are you
Yeah.
consuming? So become aware of what you're consuming. Am I consuming protein bars, or health snacks, or health shakes, and all this other stuff? Because everything that you have consumed so far has led to the result that you're expressing. So everything that I've done so far until now has made me look like this. So
Yes.
everything that you see is from something I did. So everything a person consumes is the reason why they look that way, good or bad or whatever, or tired or whatever, or energetic, but fragile or weak. Everything a person has done until this point is the accumulation of their past. They are the current state of their entire life in one focal point in one moment. So you have to look at yourself and say, like, this is what has been produced from everything I've done in the past. Do I like it? Am I happy with this? Or do I want better? So that's going to be the next thing. And then after that, the person has to go inside and start tagging and understanding, why did I choose that? Where did this come from? Who told me it has to be this way? Because most people can't even think outside the box that they're living in. Like, okay, for somebody to be this, for me personally, they say for somebody to be this big or whatever, I'm currently like 216 pounds, somewhere in there. So people are like, for the dude to be this big, he has to be on steroids and this and that. It's like, actually, I've never done steroids. Actually, I haven't eaten in 60 days. Actually, I don't even work out. They're like, it's impossible. So they instantly write it off because they can't
Mhm.
even think outside the box that they're trapped in. So they can only do what they're trapped in. The
Yes.
person can only think in the box that they're in, and everybody's in a box. I'm in a box. You're in a box.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a box. It's just some people's boxes are a little bit bigger than others, but still in
That's
our
usually
minds.
that make the difference. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
make the
yeah,
huge
yeah. I
gap.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
not denying the box. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I'm greater than anybody, but I'm saying, like, I have defined enough things within my life to expand my
Yeah.
box a little bit more to where I have greater functionality, which is the true
Yes.
evolution.
Yeah.
But if a person doesn't know why they think what they think, who told them that? Oh, you need blood work. You need to do this. You got to balance your carbs. You got to eat you got to do all this stuff. It's like you're living somebody else's words, and you haven't clearly defined it yourself. So that person will live in a box, and that's will be the extent of their perception, and they can't ever do anything beyond this. So they're actually trapped. So the first thing they have to do is, or the next thing they have to do is go in and relabel everything and define everything that they've experienced so far to see what accumulated to this point. Why do I believe this and where did it come from? Now, the last thing they have to do is agree with themselves. So so out of the 5, the last thing they have to do, like with all that, right? All the things that we said before, finally
Yes.
accumulate all that stuff here and then come together and then align yourself in a direction, align yourself in a position, and then move down it. And whenever you do, all your energy consolidates into one like focused laser beam, and then every action you do becomes successful
Yeah.
because it's
Decide
it's
where we
it's
want to go.
direct versus yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything comes in that one point. Instead of being like a diffused light that's just, everywhere, you're a laser. And in the laser, you have precision and accuracy. So you even know if you're hitting your goal or not, or whatever your thing is. So
Yeah.
so that's what I would say for a person. Now, that's not everything, but that's something that people can do now just to be more successful in their life, physically, monetarily, relationship wise, and everything else, because it affects everything. What I'm talking about is not a health thing. What I'm talking about is not a fitness or lose weight or weight loss. I'm talking about truly influencing reality. The only way to influence reality is to be focused. That's the only way. You cannot be unconscious and influence reality. You have to be plugged in. You have to be focused. You have to be engaged in it. When you do, everything that correlates with reality is affected by it. Money,
Yeah.
health, wealth, success, relationships, everything else.
But like, has the convenience of a modern way of living made the humanity weaker? I mean, do you think that even nowadays we have social media, um, do you think that social media connects us or disconnect the people or ourselves from each other? What do you think? It's the cause here.
So I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say I love social media. I'm not even against
Yeah.
it. Thanks
Yeah.
Zuck for making, Facebook, and thank you guys for making YouTube. Google, thanks for making it available. Thanks for Instagram. Like, I like social media, but it's completely how you approach it. There is no good, there is no
Yeah.
evil. There is no
Yeah.
holy, there is no sacred, there's no sacrilegious or anything like there just is. Everything is holy, everything is sacred, meaning there is no greater diversity of more sacred and less sacred. Everything's good, right? Or everything's bad because there's no good or bad. So it's whatever we label it as. So, however a person approaches any topic or subject matter will determine the outcome that they experience. So if a person sees social media as detrimental and bad, then they will generate the confirmation from reality that will tell them social media is bad. All they'll get is, I don't know what's out there, anime girls and bad news, like distractions. But if you see
Yeah.
social media as like one of the greatest connections of all time, you can connect to people you would have never had the chance with,
Yeah.
like inspirational people or gurus or whatever, that a person, 200 years ago would have been just a farmer in their hometown, shoveling pig crap all day, getting pig crap out of
Yeah.
the bin. Now that we have this connection, I can speak to the guru or the person or the finance or whatever and get instant, in a sense, connection with them to receive their energy to be able to expand to a greater effectivity in this reality. So I
Yeah.
think that social media is great if it's used in that manner, and it can disempower people if it's used in a manner to distract people. So whatever we focus on is what we get more of. So if you use social media for negative news, your life is going to become very negative and sour. I'm looking out, it's a blue sky, big fluffy clouds, life is beautiful. But if I'm looking on social media and I'm looking at negative news, I will miss the blessing. I will miss, what's good in a sense, even though there's no good or bad. So it's
Yeah.
it's however a person uses it. If they use it in a sense to justify their negativity, then they live in hell. If you use it for a tool to enhance the expansion of the creativity that you have power and ability. If you use it as a justification to declare this realm as a gift and a blessing, then you get to live in heaven. It's however a person wants to use it at that point. So use it
Yes.
wisely. And it cannot disempower, because you can't grow in power. You can't be weakened in power. You simply have power. You don't have to have, like, to be rich, you don't have to have a bunch of muscles. To
Yes.
be effective, you don't have to have a giant freaking gains like Putin, right? He doesn't have giant muscles, but man, that guy says something, stuff happens. Jeff Bezos, he now has muscles, but starting it, he didn't have a bunch of muscles. So like, it's not like you need something to be powerful. The only thing you need is to focus. And when you focus, you tap into the power that you already have. So social media cannot take power or disempower or weaken your power. It can only, if you use it that way, it can only disconnect you from the power by distracting you. But the moment you
Yeah.
put it down, you're connected again and you just focus. But the power is there either way.
Yeah, but I also have to admit, as you said, I'm a very big admirer and totally positive up against the social media. But as you said, it also can be a very huge distractional link. And I would also like to go a little bit higher with you and ask you these questions. Can be more absurd to you, but imagine that if modern civilization disappears tomorrow, what kind of survival skill mechanisms would most people immediately realize they have lost? What do you think about that?
Well, they probably don't know what they don't know, so they wouldn't even know what they lost until they go out and experience the world. So
Experience
I
world,
think
yeah.
one thing, yeah,
Uh-huh.
for sure. I think one thing with people is you just have to go experience. That's the main thing. That's why we're here. That's why we. But besides influencing this realm, one of the major reasons why we're here is to
Mhm.
experience it. So even if
Yeah.
social media, the electrical grid and everything went down tomorrow, you would still be in life and you would have a bunch of new experiences, which is the purpose
Mhm.
of what source, creator, God, whatever person wants to say, made us for. We're not here to sit in our rooms and do nothing. We're here to go
Yeah.
experience new things in the fullness of this realm. But when a person doesn't experience the fullness of this realm or fulfill that purpose, that's the purpose. The purpose of life is one thing. Beyond everything, it's not your wife or your husband or your kids or your job or like your spiritual calling of like ascending and transcending, this 3D yo, your one purpose is to live. That's why you were born alive. Like the one purpose of life itself is to live. What is life? Conscious experiences. That's all life is. If you're not conscious, you're not experiencing. If you're not experiencing, you're probably brain dead. Dead in the name. So we're given life to live. And life is conscious experience, going out and experiencing stuff. Understanding there's no good, there's no bad, but there are consequences, right? So if a person goes out and robs a bank or hurts other people, I'm not saying it's bad, but guess what? There's going to be consequences of that. So if you're willing to pay those consequences, sure, if that's what you want, but understand there's also rewards. So if you go out and you love people and give gifts and you're caring, then there's rewards for that. And a person can have whatever they want, but they're here to experience no matter what. That's the main thing. And when you are experiencing life, you're fulfilling life. And when you're fulfilling life, you get more of it to live.
Yes, exactly, Mike. And I also liked as you used your meditation. So I also think that people need stillness in order to become a little bit more aware of themselves. But do you think we become addicted to stimulation because of everything that is happening around ourselves? So do we just practically react? In order us to grow, as you said, we need to be a little bit consciously awareness and get back to ourselves. So we need stillness. So it's a totally opposite direction from the direction that is offered to us. So what is your opinion about that?
Well, the funny thing is, I kind of think it's the opposite. I kind of think people need to
Okay.
go out and be stimulated more. I think that when you look at it,
Right.
people are occupied, but they're not stimulated. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
scrolling on your phone and you're occupied, but you're not truly stimulated. I've been skydiving and whitewater river rafting and like mudding and off-roading and jumping trucks and shooting guns and all kinds of stuff. So
Mhm.
like that's stimulus than just being occupied scrolling on my phone or like on the computer or typing all this other stuff. So instead of necessarily like, but I do agree stillness is cool because it kind of exposes things to you. It's almost like mowing the grass. When you mow the grass in your field, you can see if snakes are coming up or predators. But when your grass is tall,
Okay.
you're unaware, a lion can come out and get you, a tiger. So stillness does help clear the field. But even better than just being still is to reduce the things that need attention. So almost like become reductive or like reduce your life to the necessities, and then living from there, you don't have to be still as much. So yeah, you'll still need to be still, but when you have less things that require your attention, you don't have to be as still as much, and you can go out and live life more, which is the purpose, is to be in a sense stimulated, because your stimuli is your senses being activated to tell you indicators of the realm that this creator built. The creator wants you to experience all of this stuff. That's one reason why I'm traveling the world. I'm honestly, I don't even like traveling. I like being at home in my bed. I like
Yeah.
chilling, getting on a plane and flying to these places and have to all this stuff, like I could just chill all day at my house. Instead, I've been to 31 countries and I'm, going. I've been traveling nonstop for 6 years. I've been traveling
Wow.
nonstop for exactly 6 years this month. I went all through the USA, went through Central America, went through all of South America. Now I've gone through all of Asia. I got one more country left. I'm going to China, and then I'll be finished with Asia. Now I'm going over to the Middle East and everything else. I've been traveling nonstop for 6 years because this realm is made to be experienced with our senses, which is stimuli to be able to detect and know what's going on. So you can, because when you intake the effects and the stimulus of reality, not just your phone or digital world or virtual world or whatever, but the true stimuli of this realm, you're taking in the creator. When you
Yeah.
feel the wind, when you see the clouds, when you feel the sun, when you feel the heat, when you sniff the flowers, you're taking in every essence of the creator, which is why we're here. This creator made something, and then it made people to experience. Hey, I made this here, go experience it. It's
Of
almost like a
course.
theme park. Like the creator of the theme park made it for people to have fun at the theme park. This world is a theme park. So the only way to truly worship the creator, if people are into that stuff, is to go experience everything that the creator made. And the creator made anger, and it made attraction, and it made depression, and it made joy and opulence and wealth and pop. It made all this stuff. It's all here in this realm. We have a sandbox world of whatever. So when we go experience that stuff, we're actually taking in the essence of the creator ourselves. So yeah, silence is really good to decipher like what's you and what's that or whatever. But ultimately, we're here as these vessels of to take in, because okay, cool. This part here, if you look at it, our eyes are holes. My pupil is,
Yeah.
is not a black thing. It's just hole. It's darkness. My ears are holes. My mouth is a hole. My nose is a hole. My skin, where my hair comes out, my pores are
Of
holes.
course.
So I am holy, full of holes, so I can take in the creator with all my holes. And this is not a perverted thing at all. But I'm saying, like, you have holes in your eyes to take in your ears to take in, your mouth to take in. Most people want to fast. They want to stop eating food. They want to like cut themselves off from reality. Let me go meditate in a dark room for 7 days or this or that. But that's the exact opposite of why the creator made all this stuff. You're here to take the opposite. You're here to take it in. And when you take it in, you become more like it. When you become more like it, you can truly expand and be successful in this realm. But if you dissect yourself from this realm, if you stop being one with this realm, then you atrophy and you lose power. And when a person loses power, that's all they have is
Yeah.
nothing. So the
Yes.
more you take into
Well,
this realm of this creator, the more powerful you become to become like the creator, not to lord over people, but just to be like the thing that made you, which is why we're here.
that's true. That's true. But I wanted actually to go with my question is, what is the illusion that modern culture keeps reinforcing to us that we have to, be in that kind of realm? And I also wanted to ask you this: is it suffering something that is necessary for us to actually engage in a huger or bigger realm of our evolution or evolution?
Okay, cool. Um, okay, first off with the suffering part, right?
Yeah.
Everything is the label that we give it. So if we believe
Mhm.
this is suffering, then it is so. Like soccer mom who lives in the suburbs in like Calabasas, California, can say that Starbucks got her order wrong, and now she doesn't have her drink going to work or not even going to work, but going shopping. Now she has to go back and order another one because they got her drink wrong. That could be suffering to her. Something as minuscule as that could literally be suffering and torment in her mind. How dare they get my drink wrong? She could be angered and furious and everything else. So we kind of spoke on this last time, but like suffering in a sense isn't really real. It's just the interpretation. When we listen to when we listen to the indicator of what's actually happening, it can redirect us to a better result. But nonetheless, if we take that indicator and just interpret it like that, we have suffering. But usually before massive suffering happens, pain or calamity or something like that, there were all these signs. If we would just paid attention, we could have avoided it completely. So in a sense, suffering, I would say, isn't necessarily real. It's an interpretation, but the extremity of or the extremeness of pain and everything else like that, or sickness or whatever, is a result are the outcome of unawareness, not paying attention, was where a lot of that comes from. But when you pay attention, like, you can avoid a lot of that stuff. But society as a whole, I think that, or it seems that, it appears that when you look out, no one's actually doing anything to anybody. Everything's just being presented to us for what we want to engage in. So we have every subcategory, every theme, every genre, and whatever a person wants to endeavor in, they get to choose. So if you want to choose in suffering, or this is bad, or negativity, or gym culture, or like uh, pretty girl stuff, outfit of the day, or whatever, foodie or traveler, you get to pick from whatever you want to. And that's the test of life. You have everything. What are you going to choose? What are you going to choose to focus on? What are you going to choose to believe? You have it. You could believe that, or you could believe this. So if you believe this, you're choosing that. And if you choose suffering and pain and guilt and shame and everything else, hate, violence, all this other stuff, that person, in a sense, I'm not saying to judge people, but at least if there is a creator who judges, looks down and says, okay, well, you chose everything that you're experiencing. You chose to focus on those. You had infinite things to focus on. You had infinite tools to use, and this person focused on this. You can, there's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, here are your results from doing that. And no one's liable but the person who chose that. And you could, in an instant, a person can instantly make the opposite choice and say, okay, I was experiencing this. I chose this. I'm going to choose the exact opposite now. And the moment they choose this, they get the entire world of this. And that's what happened in my own personal life. I was not as successful as I am now. And I was seeing that I was choosing this stuff. So I stopped choosing this. I chose the opposite. And when I chose the opposite, I literally got the opposite experience. Same person, same body, same soul, same everything. Just chose the exact opposite. And now I live very comfortably, very blessed. I'm probably the most favored man in the world, and everything's good and everything's easy. And I've been experiencing that for about 5 to 6 years consistently. Like, the moment I made that decision, I've only gone up. So it's showing, I've seen that it's completely presented before us, and then people are choosing whatever they're experiencing. They may not know they're choosing, they may be unaware, they may not have the conscious capacity, the energetic capacity to see that they chose that, but nonetheless, a an effect can only happen after the cause. Effect can't happen if there was no cause. The cause is the person's consciousness. Whatever that consciousness believed, collapsed upon itself, and acted upon is what led towards the effect that they're experiencing they call suffering. But nonetheless, it points back to what they've been choosing all along.
But Mike, where does, by your opinion, where does the change starts? Is it like a self-purpose or self-discovery, something that happens within us at the beginning, or something that we create throughout the action? So
Cool.
what was that discovery for you? So where does this self-purpose, starts to occur?
That, man, you got some great. I love talking with you because you have some of the best questions. Like, seriously, these
Thank
these are
you,
these
man.
are great, man. So
Well, you're forcing me, so I have to go a little bit deeper, man. So it's kind of both,
let's
likewise,
go. Let's be
both
deep.
ways. Let's go, let's
100.
go.
So
What do you
self-purpose,
believe?
right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, purpose is just to live. So
Mhm.
like people are disassociated with that. Like no matter what, you were put here to live, whether a person wants to believe it or not. Whether they want to believe it or not, they're still living, right? The
Yeah.
people could unalive themselves or in whatever. Like, okay, cool. That's a reality. But everyone who's here is living in the purpose by default. And now it's
Yeah.
just coming into the acknowledgement of, okay, well, what is life? And we kind of break that down in the guide. I break that down in a lot of my videos and lives, and definitely the Discord, right? The philosophy portion of the guide kind of breaks down life. Life is this, this, and that, right? So self-purpose is kind of a play on words, but there's just purpose. The purpose is just to experience. It's just to live. But where change comes in, where change actually happens, is moment by moment. So there is no change. Everybody wants to point to like an event, but
Yeah.
change is always occurring every second of every moment, every minute of every hour, every day of every week of every month of every year. So change never stops happening. We're only in change. So something changed from an hour ago. An hour ago, I didn't have a microphone in front of my face talking to my bro. I was
Yeah.
over there doing this, doing that. So so every second is the change. Now, here's how you
Yeah.
be successful: is acknowledge the change, acknowledge where you are, acknowledge. So every person who's in finance, I have a lot of friends who are in finance and stuff like that. How you see, oh, it's gonna be good. So where you see the volatility, there's like certain financial terms that people use to pretty much give discretion to the difference, and then they make money off that. They profit off that. So whenever you see something's coming, right? So like, hey, oil is about to go up. They see it. They know there's about to be the change. They place themselves there, and then that's where they get the payoff, buying the
Mhm.
short or whatever, however they do it, right? So when a
Yeah.
person can place themselves and focus and see the difference of that from this, and they place themselves in it, is where everything occurs. Well, you do that second by second, moment by moment, and everything else, like I was saying earlier. So the change isn't a point in life. It is life.
Yeah.
And when you understand every second is changing and you focus on it, you say, okay, how do I want this change to be? How do I want this change to be now? How do I want this change to be now? How do I want this change to be now? How do I want this change to be now? Because even yourself, you ask me questions, right? And I think about it for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way. Okay, how do we make this the most powerful podcast? How do we make this most powerful conversation? And I change my own direction towards this. So when you do that every single second, the only outcome could be success, prosperity, and everything else. But if we see it as an event, as a one-time thing, that's why we have inconsistent results or people struggle because they think that one thing is going to do it. When they have a million changes in a day that they could embrace and look at, they're trying to do one change. They're trying to do one thing. They're like, okay, well, what's the one thing I can do? That's why people are struggling in life and suffering and everything else. A lot of people come to me. It's like, hey, Mikey, what's the one thing I could do to get fit? Hey, Mikey, what's the one thing I could do to do that mentality is why people are losing because they're trying to do one thing because they don't have the stamina to do everything. You need to do everything. How do I have multiple lovers? Most people can't even hold together one relationship in one marriage. I have multiple. Next week is my anniversary with Sasha, and I've been with her for 15 years. I just had my anniversary, not just, but like 6 months ago, I had my anniversary pretty much with Lay. And 6 years there, and I have all these other relationships and everything else. It's because I didn't let the marriage or the date be the moment that brought us together. I made every single day, every single second, every single moment our relationship. So I'm in a
Yeah.
relationship with them right now. And as you see that you're in life right now, you're already playing, you make the change right now. Okay. When I'm focusing with the ladies, I make the change with them. How do we bring this higher, better, everything else? When I'm focused with Ivan, my bro, how do we make this podcast better, blah, blah, blah. If we're talking in the DMs, how do I encourage my bro to know that he's doing awesome? Bam. For me, you come on the lives and like, oh, bro, you're doing awesome. So when we constantly see everything is the change and we have the energetic capacity to engage with it, like I was saying, like we put down the distraction, we plug into power. Now we have enough energetic capacity when we do the alignment with the energy that we we're talking about earlier to affect the change over the course of the entirety of our life. And that's where all this stuff occurs because we take full accountability for it, full responsibility. And then from that, the only thing that can happen is what we willed, is what we chose, is what
Yeah.
we were aware of. And if any kind of accident, any sort of thing that we didn't understand or some sort of incident, right? Some sort of incident or accident happens, that's just exposing where we were unaware of so we can go there, focus on it and make the change there. So
Yeah.
every bad thing that we would label as bad accident or like, oh, I didn't mean for that to happen or is trying to tell us it's trying to make us aware so we can make that thing better. So they're not even bad. You get in a car wreck, it's not even that bad. You lose some money, it's not that bad. Whatever. You stub your toe on the couch, it's not that bad because that's just trying to tell you where you've been unaware so you can change it so that your presence can go in to make heaven on earth. But you have to have the desire, the understanding. You have to disconnect yourself from things that don't matter anymore and then take responsibility for it. And
Yeah.
whenever you do that, you have all this energy and it's just so abundant. That's why I say, this is why I say muscles are stupid. Fasting is stupid. That's why I say so many things are stupid because they come by default. When you just live that energetic life and you take accountability for all those things, like one by one, you're doing all this other stuff. Then all of a sudden, you end up having the money, the muscles, the relationship, and everything else. They come by default. But if you have to go work for it, if you have to go do that, then we're compensating for our unawareness over here. Even all my viewers and stuff like that, like all the views, the followers and stuff, I didn't do anything to get followers or views or sell guides. I just was doing the thing over here. And as I do this, all that stuff happens. Same thing with muscles. As I do this, all that stuff happens. So we use the outcomes or the results of reality to tell us if we're focusing on the right thing or not. Not to tell us what to do, but to show us what's happened so far with our application of our focus, or even if we were focusing, were we even focusing? But you need a lot of conscious energy to do that. And that's what I help people with the guys get that energy so you can even pay attention on that type of level because it's a whole different reality. Like whenever people
That
see me, they think, okay, cool, fitness guy. But I'm telling them, like, it's not even fitness, it's a whole different reality that I'm living, and it takes a massive amount of cognitive energy to be able to sustain this. It's all about the energy. Get as much energy as you can, and you start living a whole different life on a whole different level, and you see through things. It's almost like transparent to you, and you know how to go inside and, like, reorganize it and reorientate it to where then it becomes these prosperous results. Sasha is older than me, but people think that she's like 20. She's 3 years my senior. I'm almost 40, and they think that she's 20. The girls around me, the ladies around me, Lay's 31. They think that they're teenagers. People like my neighbors thought that Lay was a teenager when we first moved here, when we first got here, because the energy that I'm putting out and that we're putting out, it preserves them. They stay young and beautiful forever. They're not stressed. They don't feel like they're obligated or have like this responsibility or duty. They're able to be free, and in that freedom, they stay looking young and beautiful. And it's the same thing for wealth. You stay wealthy and successful. It's the same thing for muscles. You stay developed and defined. So when you engage in this energy, everything gets better, and everyone around you gets better, and your place gets beautiful, and the people around you stay young and vibrant and beautiful. And then everything, it's like heaven on earth. It literally is like you're basking in a whole different realm than everybody else in reality. And you never had to work for it or even try. And there's no suffering.
You explained that very eloquently, in a sense that changes requires those big steps. And each change is a small step ahead. But on the other side of the equation is fear. And a fear, people also agree, it can be a huge blockage. It can be a huge hindrance. So if you could, my question to you, if you could remove one fear from humanity, which fear would it be? To create, that create this positive change in the humanity.
So your question is, if I could remove one fear from humanity, which one would it be for the most positive
which
change?
one would be? For the most,
Which fear?
Yeah.
I would leave fear. I think fear is the greatest motivator of all humanity. When it's whether it's acknowledged or not, fear is actually one of the healthiest things for humanity. I think fear is greater than love, because you can love somebody and you become complacent and lazy, but you can fear something for somebody and you'll get your butt up and you'll go fix it. Like, oh man, like fear is a great motivator. So I think the source put fear in this realm on purpose. It's that people are living unaligned from what fear actually is. When they live unaligned, it depresses them and it sinks and it weighs heavy on them and it eats away at them because they don't know what it is. But when you truly see what it is, it's an indicator like, fear's there. Okay, cool. Then it kind of motivates you or shows you what to do. Not because the consequences, but because it's indicating to you the unawareness of it. We're only afraid, or fear is only present in a place that's not illuminated by wisdom. So whenever we're ignorant on a fact, don't know the future, don't know what's going to happen next, there's fear. But the moment if you knew the future, if you knew what's going to happen tomorrow, and you knew it word for word verbatim, and you got it from like the source or whatever, and then somebody else told you the opposite, no, tomorrow's going to be a bad day and blah, 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 all this other stuff, there's no way you'd fear them or what they're saying or tomorrow, because you already know what's going to happen. So fear is just the area, the space of ignorance on a certain subject matter. It might be the future. It might be a relationship. It could be anything. So all it's telling you is shine the light of awareness and gain wisdom, the illumination of wisdom in that specific area. So you can, operate that and apply it to your life. So fear is good. It's trying to show us. But when people don't know what fear is, they fear it. The only thing to fear is fear itself. So like when people don't know what fear is, they end up fearing fear. And it's like, no, fear is trying to show us where to pay attention.
There's stuff there. There's stuff there. Yeah. But imagine, Mike, you're talking right now with an 80-year-old version of yourself. So what advice do you hope that future version of Michael gives to you today?
Man, again, you have great questions.
Thank you.
18-year-old version of Mikey, let's go. Man, what would I say to myself? This is kind of tough because I don't want to ruin my timeline. Like it came out pretty good. I'm like, hey, everything you're going through is cool. Like, I would probably tell myself this: predestiny is something to not fight with. Just go with it and just trust it fully. You're good every day. Just put out good energy. That's all that matters. It's predestined. It's already good. Now just agree with that. It's already good, and life is perfect. That's it, bro. No bad feelings, no negativity, don't willfully bring that upon your life. You don't have to feel sad. You don't have to feel emo. You don't have to feel any of that stuff, bro. Like, you already know life is good. You've already experienced a lot of good life. Like, obviously, look at the past 18 years have been freaking amazing, and you know that
Yeah.
miracles exist and everything else. So now all life is requiring of you is to get in a good energetic state and just stay in it and agree. If predestiny is saying, hey man, go do this, okay, cool, I agree, in good energy.
Just go
Hey,
for it. Yeah.
predestination say, hey, just chill here, like stay here and chill. Okay, I'll stay here and chill in good energy. That's all it needs. That's all life needs from you. You do that, man. Like,
Yeah.
you'll be you'll be light years ahead of where I currently am, and I'm in a pretty good spot. So that's what I would say to my 18-year-old self.
It's important. I'm just going to ask you one more question and then I'm going to leave you. I know that very busy person. So for the final, this is your last conversation. Imagine this is like your very last interview. Of course, of course, it's not going to be that you're ever going to get. So what's the truth? Would you want every single person out there listening to us right now remember for the rest of their lives? What is the message from Michael Ferguson to
Okay, man, that always always be ready, right? So yeah, man. The last message,
We need to
if I had to leave
capitalize on it,
humanity,
Mikey.
yeah, yeah, it's because there's like 50 things I want to say. I have so many
Of
because
course.
but that one thing, if I had to say the one thing is, I'm gonna say this, man. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is so limited. Okay, this is not the full scope. This is not even it.
Yes, I
But
know.
it
I
would be
know.
similar to my 18-year-old self. It's just
Yeah.
in the beginning of the day and all day, get in the best elated energy that you can. Just feel good. Like, don't even get out of bed
Yeah.
until you feel good. I'm not saying stay in bed because you don't feel good. I'm saying hurry up and feel good so you can get out of bed. So don't even
Yeah.
get out of bed until you feel good. Feel good. Take that 2 minutes, 60 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever, to get
Yeah.
in the best feeling, not even the best state. Forget thinking. Just feel orgasmic, feel blissful, feel euphoric, and then get in that energy and just that's when you get out of bed. And then as you're out of bed, shoot that energy out into the world. Like, just
Yeah.
like everyone you see, smile, be like, what's up? Go to the higher level, like, yo, dog, what's up? Hey, yo, and just send that energy out. If I had to
Yeah.
leave people with one thing, that will make you more successful, that will make you more approachable. uh, I mean, women don't like me because I'm a hard dude. Like, if you see me, I'm not very hard. Like, I'm not David
Yeah.
Goggins, okay? I'm like super chill, super fun. Obviously, the ladies like being here. When I go out, I make a bunch of friends. We don't need more hardness in the world. We don't need more snootiness. We don't need more alpha males or like bad bitchs. Like, that stuff's so overplayed. Everyone's tired of it. It's so fake. Just give out the most love you can. And if people like make fun of you or whatever, like loser because you're giving out love, like, they're saying that because of their insecurities. They want to be like you.
Yeah.
So you might as well be in that energy because they will fall and they'll fold before you do. You stay in the energy, eventually, like, hey man, I actually respected you this whole time. I thought you were really cool, and like I was just being a jerk. I've had so many people DM me on that because I'm
Yeah.
smiling and I'm happy and I'm like joyous. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Come on. People are like, dude, these guys, whatever, overhyped, whatever. And then sure enough, I'm still in it years later. Like, I've been in this for years. I never came out of it. And people are like, actually, dude, I was just jealous of you because, like, you have a pretty good life. And, like, I was just kind of jealous because I want, they'll fold. So just put out, like, don't leave your bed until you're in the best energy, feeling euphoric and everything else. And then once you get out of bed, just put it like a Care Bear or like some sort of, if you watch, The Boys, what is it, Soldier Boy, how he shoots his energy beam from his chest, just like
Yeah.
shoot that energy out into the world. And I'm telling you, your life will be so perfect. It will make the world a better place. It'll make your life a better place. Like, life will just be better on every front. And you'll thank me for it later. You'll be like, oh dang, Mikey was right. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's huge, Mike. And our first conversation introduced your philosophy, but I
Mhm.
believe that our today's discussion challenges us really to think even deeper and far beyond that. And we did not just discuss about the health and a human performance, but we also talk the main character here about your conscientiousness, what is the purpose, what is the responsibility, and what it means, to fully experience this human life. So I want to thank you for that, Mike. So, and I believe whether listeners agree with every perspective or just simply leave us with a few new questions, I believe that's the value of the conversation like this. The growth doesn't begin with any certainty. It begins with curiosity and the willingness to examine our assumptions, as you said, to take these challenges and step beyond. And I can just say, and I hope this episode inspires to our listeners to become more intentional, to more within themselves, not only, how to train their body, but in how to breathe, how to think, how to recover, how to connect with themselves and with others, and to engage, as you said, with more love, with more conscientiousness, with the world around us, and my message maybe to the listeners would be, if you really enjoyed this conversation with Michael, please share it with someone who values personal growth and meaningful conversations, meaningful dialogue. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, so you don't miss the future episode featuring all the world-class coaching beliefs, thinking and exploring the limits of human performance potential. So, Michael, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of the Let's Get Moving podcast.
Ivan, I love you so much. It was an honor, and definitely let's do this again, bro.
Let's do it again. So until the next time, keep moving, keep learning, keep smiling, be in that positive energy, and never stop exploring what you're truly capable of. So until the next time, I love you all. Mikey. Bye
Love
bye.
you, brother.
Thanks, you man. I love you too.